NZ Travel Show, an interactive show where you can ask your NZ travel questions to the experts behind nzpocketguide.com, New Zealand's largest travel guide. The NZ Travel Show will start in exactly 2 minutes. Just the time for you to hit the like button, ring the notification bell, and subscribe if you have not done so yet. nzpocketguide.com has over 3,000 articles covering all aspects of travelling in New Zealand, from a working holiday gap year to tips for a perfect family holiday. The site also features dozens of pre-made itineraries that you can use to plan your ideal trip in New Zealand. It's all available for free at nzpocketguide.com, so check it out. The NZ Travel Show is hosted by Robin, the Operations Manager of South Pacific Pocket Guide, the company behind nzpocketguide.com. The New Zealand Travel Show is also hosted by Laura, a journalist and editor-in-chief of South Pacific Pocket Guide and all its publications, including nzpocketguide.com. We're exactly 1 minute away from the NZ Travel Show. Get yourself comfortable and start asking your NZ travel questions in the chat. Robin and Laura will go over them when the show starts. In 30 seconds, our experts will be live from New Zealand to give you all the practical New Zealand travel tips you need, from the best transport options to the best accommodations and activities to choose for the perfect New Zealand holiday. Live from New Zealand, this is the NZ Travel Show with your travel experts, Robin and Laura.
Good morning everybody and welcome to the NZ Travel Show. Today we are live with you for a whole hour where we're going to be answering all your questions about traveling in beautiful New Zealand. How does it work a little bit, this travel show? I'll give a bit of an introduction if somebody just stumbled upon us.
So we're here for a whole hour to ask. We are here for a whole hour for you guys to come and ask your New Zealand travel questions directly to us in the live chat. So ask away throughout the show, but if you miss the live show...
I have a question. Why do people ask us questions? Like, are we just random talking heads?
No, we're not. We're the team behind nzpocketguide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide. We've been operating the guide for more than 10 years now, so we have lots of experience traveling the beautiful country, which is Aotearoa, New Zealand. However, if you do miss the live show, you can always put your questions in the comment section of any of our YouTube videos, and we can also answer questions in the comment section too. But the best place to get your questions answered is right here, right now, during the NZ Travel Show. So ask away.
Here you go. So in the live chat we have a regular, beautiful Anthony is here saying Morena from Rodeo, California. What does Morena mean, Laura?
Morena means good morning in the indigenous language of New Zealand, which is Te Reo Maori.
All right. So as we're waiting for your questions, we're going to be talking a little bit about our theme of the week. We do like to have a little bit of a theme to kind of have a subject we can talk about, but you can ask about anything. And today is going to be really fun because I have a really cool video to use in the background. So let's get started. So due to the beautiful mountains of New Zealand, both on the northern and the southern, we do have some amazing rapids and torrents. And what shall we do with those rapids and torrents? Well, of course, go on them and delve into the frigid waters, because most of the time it's frigid waters, and basically explore the sceneries right from the bottom of those canyons. So that's why today we're going to be talking about white water rafting. There is a lot of places in New Zealand where you can do white water rafting. It's an epic thing to do and one of my favorite activities to do in New Zealand. So that's what we're going to be spending most of the hour chit-chatting about. We're going to give you some tips, some things you need to know about whitewater rafting in New Zealand, of course. But on top of that, we're going to be talking about our favorite places, our favorite spots in the country to do whitewater rafting. Alongside, we're going to be watching us doing whitewater rafting. We are the two heads at the front of the boat right here. So with the 2-1 right in the front, and the camera is on the top of the head of our guide. So hopefully we will stay on the boat for the whole hour, but we shall see. As you can see, there is quite a few boats with us today on the beautiful river. This was shot in River Valley. So yeah, that's it for now. Let's begin by giving you a few facts about whitewater rafting in New Zealand. So Laura, do you want to get us started?
Yeah, let's start with some of the most popular locations in New Zealand for whitewater rafting. And the thing to note about whitewater rafting is that you can do it on both islands of New Zealand, so both the North Island and the South Island. And the good thing is that most whitewater rafting spots are in places that most people visit. So if you're on the North Island, you can do whitewater rafting, for instance, in Rotorua, which is a very popular city to visit, mostly known for its Maori and geothermal aspects, but also you can do whitewater rafting there. You can also do whitewater rafting on the Tongariro River, so this is sort of on your main route going down the North Island as well, quite close to the Tongariro crossing, which is on a lot of people's bucket lists. And then heading down to the South Island, you can do whitewater rafting in Queenstown. Of course, Queenstown is a very, very popular tourist town, so again, very much on the itineraries of most people traveling the South Island.
Ooh, that's a tight squeeze.
Yeah, so you do have options for if you're pretty much doing your standard sort of trip around New Zealand. There are loads of options for getting to those main places for whitewater rafting, but there's also some off the beaten track whitewater rafting destinations as well. And
we'll talk about all those destinations around the later part of the video. But one of the things you need to keep in mind basically is that you don't have to get out of your way to do whitewater rafting. Alright, so as we're going to be talking about whitewater rafting, we're going to be talking about different grades for the river. So I know that can be confusing if you don't know what the grades are and what it entails to. So the one thing you need to know is that grade 1 is one of the lowest grades you can give to a river, and it means that it's very, very easy and it will make for a very mellow whitewater rafting trip. And grade 5 will be very, very challenging and probably will be the hardest kind of grades where you can do some commercial kind of tourism whitewater rafting activities in the river. So you don't really have to make sure that the river matches your skill level or anything like that. It's just a way for you to know what kind of thrill you're going to be getting along the river. But speaking of thrill, Laura?
Speaking of thrill, safety first.
Exactly. You can get thrills but safely, right?
Yes, you can. The good thing about whitewater rafting in New Zealand is that it is very strict on safety. So you are given a lot of safety gear that is very mandatory. So of course you are provided with life jackets, you are provided with helmets. On top of that, you have very nice thick wetsuits. So in the event that you do get wet, which is almost a mandatory event, you will keep nice and warm despite being, in the cold waters of New Zealand. They also usually give you splash jackets, which is that extra layer of protection. If you're not submerged in the water, then you're still keeping the water off your skin, just to, keep yourself nice and warm. So all of those are sort of at the forefront of safety in New Zealand. And then throughout the experience there, the guides do keep you very comfortable. If it's longer trips, they usually provide like hot drinks, that sort of thing as well, to keep you warm. Sometimes like some refreshments as well. And also, the guides are professionally trained. You always are with professionals and people that know the rivers like the back of their hands. So, and also you're in
the back of their paddles.
Like the back of their paddles, and you're often in most cases in groups of multiple boats. All the guides are usually working together, and they have protocols of like if a raft flips, counting all the passengers.
And there's also safety kayaks quite often, which we saw in the video
before. Safety kayaks as well. So you do have like lots of sort of lots of different safety aspects. So it is. New Zealand does have a very good reputation for keeping people safe on commercial whitewater rafting trips.
Indeed. And Denis and Geraldine are saying hello from Belgium. How are you doing, guys? So next up, I thought I'd give you a quick rundown as to what does a whitewater rafting trip usually kind of looks like. What are the different steps, right? So usually, well, once you booked and everything, you arrive at the office, you check that you paid, and you do your booking. What often happens is that they will give you, this guy, speaking of the, safety raft,
kayak.
safety kayak right here. So what often happens is that the first thing that happens is that they give you all the gear, so like wetsuits and all these kind of things, helmets, you kind of fit everything nicely right in the office. They give you the jacket, what do you call that?
The life jacket?
Life jacket, here you
the
go.
wetsuit?
No, the life jacket,
yeah.
I was looking for the word. Yeah, and give you the paddle. So basically all the gears that you may need. This safety kayak is not doing well, by the way. This is very distracting. This video distracts me greatly. Anyway, I don't know who's saving you thanks to this safety kayak. So they give you all the gears. Then after that, they will kind of give you a bit of a safety briefing, explaining you a bunch of procedures. Then they're going to split you into groups. Usually it's about between 6 and 8 people per raft, as you can see on the raft that we're on. And then after that, we are kind of carrying the raft. So like everybody kind of help carrying this. It's not really a heavy raft, but carry the raft up to the river. Then we do a few exercises in the river to make sure that everybody's like comfortable with it. And then after that, we are then doing getting onto the trip. So that's usually kind of what happens. You do the whole trip, and then after that, if it's a long trip, as Laura said, you get a bit of a break in between where you get a hot drinks and something, or sometimes like this place right here, you can get off the kayak and jump from the cliffs and everything. Like they do have some specific stop. We just saw that happening right here. Look at this person.
Off they go.
So you have all that, and then during the trip also, usually you have much more than just one kayaks. So like that, everybody waits for each other. So you either kind of help unstuck each other, as it just happened to us right here, or even as well you do safety for everybody, right? You stay, just at the bottom of the rapids. So if any raft flip, you can carry the stragglers, etc., which makes it for good old fun. So that's basically how usually a whitewater rafting trip goes. Continuing with the tips. Sorry.
Yeah. So another aspect of whitewater rafting that's really awesome about it is that it is suitable for all ages.
Yeah.
So Robin talked a little bit about the grading systems before, and the good thing is that usually you don't have to have any prior skills for whitewater rafting. They give you all the training once you're there, saying, if I give you this instruction, you paddle on your left or you paddle on your right, that sort of thing. So you get all that once you arrive at the activity. But yeah, if there are families with younger children, then usually going for a grade that's a little bit more timid, like grade 1, 2, or even up to 3 is usually the best for families to do something perhaps a little bit less scary than doing a grade 4 or 5. But yeah, each company will have their sort of age restrictions, if there are any age restrictions. But yeah, the thing you need to basically bear in mind if you are a family is that it's still worth considering whitewater rafting and looking into it, because you might be surprised that young kids can do whitewater rafting, and second of all, it's actually a really good family activity because it's very much about teamwork. It's a lot of team bonding in the activity itself, so it actually can be a really fantastic activity to do some sort of adventure tourism for families.
Another great thing about whitewater rafting is that it really takes you inside some of the best sceneries of the country. You can see canyons from the top and everything, and it looks really nice, or you can hike and everything, but just being right at the bottom of some of the most beautiful rivers is absolutely fantastic. So I just wanted to point out that whitewater rafting is not just all about the thrill, it's also a lot about the stunning sceneries of New Zealand.
Absolutely. So next tip, the best time to go. Usually the most whitewater rafting companies will be open all year round. For instance, in the Tongariro River, Rotorua, so more specific, River Valley as well. So very much on the North Island, but only in the South Island you'll find a little bit more of a sort of seasonal restrictions. There's whitewater rafting, for instance, in Queenstown, but they don't operate in winter. It's usually sort of the spring to early autumn seasons, and obviously throughout summer as well. So if you're looking for whitewater rafting, you can find it all year round in New Zealand. It just sort of limits where you can go. Usually it's best to go in the North Island for winter. But yeah, other than that, whitewater rafting is probably, if you want your full options for whitewater rafting, then it's best to go in summer.
Yeah. But spring is my favorite, just because I do
Yes.
like when it's nice and gushy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's quickly talk about level of fitness. A lot of people ask us, can they go whitewater rafting in, any kind of level of fitness and everything? And the answer is kind of yes. You don't even need to know how to swim to do whitewater rafting, because they give you a really thick wetsuit that already make you float. Plus, on top of that, you have your life jackets. And although you see us kind of paddling quite a lot, you can see that on some other rafts, sometimes the people are barely paddling at all. And the guide, if they're well trained, which most of them are, should be able to navigate a raft full of people throughout
Completely by themselves.
Exactly, throughout the entire river. It will make it for a very tiresome experience for the guide, but they should be able to do it technically. So
Yeah.
So Laura, what should you wear?
Okay, so
Next tip.
for people going on a whitewater rafting trip, first things first, you probably want to wear some swimwear.
Oh, no way.
You don't want to go naked underneath the wetsuit, mainly because, I don't know,
Other people wore it.
So yeah, make sure that you have your swimwear at the ready. And usually when it comes to all these sort of warm items, that's all provided by the whitewater rafting tour company. So
Yeah.
really, you don't need anything else in terms of clothing. They'll even give you booties, so like little boots to wear as well. So you usually don't need much more than that. But some companies may require you to bring some trainers, but not even. No, I can't even think of an example when that's the case. So yeah, basically just some swimwear and then some, dry clothes to get changed into after the trip. And
if you tend to get really, really, really cold, which is rare in whitewater rafting trip, really rare, because you do exercise a lot, you can wear rashes. That could help.
Yeah, you can have. So if you do have your own sort of, water sports wear to keep you warm, then they're not going to probably stop you from wearing it. But take it from someone that gets cold. Like even in tropical waters, I don't even need to wear anything extra with all the equipment that they give to you. It's usually all adequate what you're wearing, and also you do get quite warm when you're outside of the water as well when you're paddling away. So everything that they provide you is usually more than enough.
Indeed. When it comes down to the duration of the trip, so usually it's a half a day affair. However, the time on the water will range between 45 minutes to about 2 hours. That's what you kind of can expect into the duration of what will happen. Do you want the next tip, Laura?
Okay, so next up, we'll talk about the group sizes. So, how many people come on a whitewater rafting tour with you? So usually within the raft itself, you can have, it's usually about there's 6 people, like 6 rafters usually, and then you'll have the guide at the back. But there's been one occasion in New Zealand where Robin and I have been the only people on the whitewater rafting trip. So there was just us two and the guide on the raft and no other boats either. But if you go to more sort of commercial areas like Queenstown, which is this isn't the trip we're doing. This is in River Valley.
We're in River Valley, right?
But in River Valley and Queenstown, for instance, where they do sort of usually big trips, they'll have maybe about 5 other boats on the water as well.
So if you go whitewater rafting, you won't need to find extra friends to fill up your raft. They will pair you up with other couples and etc. And if you're more than let's say 6 or 8 and everything, they will kind of split you in different rafts. And so it's always cool. You can kind of race each other, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
All right, when it comes down to photographies and videos, most companies will kind of sell you their own professional photographies and etc. They usually have photographers that goes down to selected spots in the river to take your photos and sell you that. Yep. When it comes down to taking your GoPro, a lot of them have a GoPro mount on the helmets, and that's where they allow you to have the GoPros. You probably wouldn't be able to take your selfie stick, etc. But you will need to contact them before, because not all of them will accept that. Next tip, Laura.
So next tip is to think about booking in advance, especially if you're doing any whitewater rafting trips in the summer seasons. So the peak season in New Zealand is between December and February, March time. So these times I would book probably as far in advance as you're able to for any whitewater rafting trip in New Zealand. However, if you're traveling outside of the peak season, then usually you do have a bit of leeway, maybe a week or two before. You should usually be able to find spots for whitewater rafting, and of course, if you're going in the winter season, usually companies like to know a little bit in advance before, because sometimes they may even put trips on just for you or just for a small group. So yeah, basically getting yourself booked on early enough for them to sort of organize that for you is usually, it's usually nice. So
Indeed.
yeah, give them maybe 2 weeks notice is usually nice, good practice.
All right, so when it comes down to, as we're taking a big shower right here, it's apt. When it comes down to trip cancellations or anything like that, the only thing that usually gets a trip cancelled is the water level, when it's either insufficient or way too big. And so that only basically happen in spring, where there is way too much rainfalls or like kind of thawing of the mountain snow. So yeah, that's basically as much as that can happen, but you can always inquire with your rafting company just to make sure that what's the current water level. When it comes down to weather condition, usually we say that whitewater rafting is a all weather kind of activity, because look at Laura getting completely soaked right here. So yeah, no matter what, you'll get wet. So even if it's raining, go enjoy whitewater rafting. It's really, really awesome anyway. So I don't think that's really a main cause of cancellation.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of that tip there, in terms of water levels, actually some of the water levels can open up some whitewater rafting trips in New Zealand. So, some rivers in New Zealand have dams on them, and when they release the dams at selected times of the years, it opens up parts of the river for whitewater rafting, especially in the North Island near Tauranga, called the Wairoa River, and also on the North Island the Tongariro River has other sections that aren't usually rafted, that when they open up the dams there, they become grade 4 rapids to make it a more adventurous trip. So if you're looking for something, I'd say definitely more adventurous, because those two examples I just gave you are grades 4 to 5 and some of the most adventurous whitewater rafting that you can do in New Zealand. So if you're looking for a big challenge, look out for dam release dates, which are usually published on the website.
Those dam release dates.
Release dates. They're published on the company websites, for instance, of Tongariro River Rafting. So yeah, have a look at those.
Indeed. All right, so next up we'll be talking about the different places in New Zealand to do whitewater rafting. We'll start the fun part, but first we have Sander in the chat.
Oh, Sander's here saying, morning, can't get New Zealand out of my head. I'm planning my 3rd trip to New Zealand.
3?
Ooh, for 5 weeks. South Island only, thinking about November or February.
Ooh, that's
so
nice.
At the start of the busy season or at the end of the busy season?
Which one would you choose if you had to choose between November or February, Lola?
I think I'd actually think I'd go for November.
Yeah, me too. I was about to say that. Damn it, I wanted you to pick February. Okay, why would you go for November over February?
Because it's just at the start of, like, it's
Because it's sooner.
Yeah, first of all, because it's before February. Second of all, because it is sort of when it's still like the sort of shoulder season where it's not really busy with the summer season just yet, but you still get usually quite nice weather. So yeah, you kind of have that best of both worlds of like good weather but not absolutely too crowded with tourists or anything, whereas February is usually where it's full-blown peak season. So yeah, that's the reason I'd go for November.
Yeah, I agree. I think November is a really good option, and also it's kind of like it will scratch that itch for you sooner rather than later, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, and then you can leave say you come at the beginning of November, and then you can sort of leave just as the December, getting into December, and it starts to get a bit crazy, so you can be gone before the craziness starts.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also you have all the tourism staff, which are all fresh.
Yes.
They haven't exhausted themselves as well, with the really, really busy season, which is always good. So yeah, that'd be my take, Sander. But let us know, mate.
Yeah.
I know you were on Patreon with us, so I think you still have access to the Facebook group. I think so. And so yeah, feel free to kind of chat with us in the Facebook group. We'll be happy to help, my friend.
Absolutely.
All right, so it looks like we made it to another rapid over there. I'm mesmerized by this video. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this one. I may have to do another whitewater rafting video at some point and try to shoehorn that theme in some reason. Because we have 3 full-length whitewater rafting trips like this one. I just don't know
What we can talk about. Wow.
Yeah, how to manage to show you that while we chit-chat, because I'm enjoying it. All right. Oh, why are we going backward? Honestly, what's wrong with us? Oh, Lord. All right. Well, hey, look, there's skills right here. We maneuver them very, very easily. We barely had to put paddle in the water, which is probably why we're maneuvering it well, because we let him do his job.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So we're backward again. Let's not get distracted. Now let's discuss about all the different options that we have around New Zealand to do whitewater rafting, Laura. So let's pick one to begin with.
Let's start with the Tongariro River, which is in the North Island of New Zealand.
That is grade 3.
Grade 3. So this is a really accessible river. It's really good if you are a bit nervous about whitewater rafting. But you don't want it to be like tiny rapids. You still want to get like the proper whitewater rafting experience, but also not something that's crazy scary either. So the Tongariro River is usually trips start from a town called Turangi, and from there they'll take you by bus up the river a little bit to their sort of launching point, and then you sort of you do your whole amazing whitewater rafting trip going down the river to your ending point, which is usually very close to the town of Turangi itself. Nearby, you would see, if you would visit this if you are traveling basically on the main highway down the North Island or up the North Island, so it's usually en route for most people on their North Island itineraries. Aspects of this tour that's really cool is that you'll do some really cool funky rapids to start with, and then there's a part where you're sort of in this really deep mossy river gorge, and that's where you sort of sit back and have some snacks and stuff, and then you make your way further down with some more awesome rapids, and there's usually some interesting wildlife to look out for, like the blue duck, which are also ducks known for whitewater rafting themselves.
Yes, they play in the rapids.
They play in the rapids. It's really cool. It's really good for all ages, and like I was saying earlier in the video, on certain times of the year they open up a dam, which means further up the Tongariro River there is a grade 4 section, so if you want to do something more adventurous, there is that option if you look out for certain dates, again, which is usually published on the Tongariro River Rafting website.
Whew. That's really cool. The one thing I'm going to be saying is that if you're looking for an option for family, I think that would be your best option, because the river is very, very mellow. It is graded as a grade 3 because there is one rapid which is a little bit more, a bit more gnarly, but most of the river is relatively mellow, so it's kind of like, it's a very, very good option if you are doing it with families. All right, moving on to, where we are currently showing you the video of right now, beautiful River Valley.
Yes.
So River Valley is a grade 4 and 5 depending on which river you're doing with them.
Yeah. So River Valley, that's the name of the company that are one of the sort of most popular companies that does whitewater rafting on the Rangiteke River and the Naruroro River.
Sorry about the pronunciation, guys. we make an effort, we promise.
But the nearest town to River Valley would be Taihape, and even then it's about a 30 to 45 minute drive from there. So this is really a destination for going whitewater rafting. They also are famous for horse riding and having a really cool sort of adventure lodge there as well, with a spa and sauna.
What just happened on there?
Looks like somebody took a tumble. This is like a destination where they have their own adventure lodge, and whitewater rafting is really part of it.
We got Laura back on the boat right now.
Also part of what's really cool about the River Valley whitewater rafting, not only is it more adventurous by being grade 4 or grade 5, but also the guides really do really have fun with you. They will even they'll ask you if you want to flip the raft just for the
Don't
experience.
spoil it. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, they will make it so you can have the experience if you want it. But if people are like no, then they won't. So it's really up to it. They really sort of cater to the group, and that's really fantastic. As you can see, because this is the video they have at the moment, they have multiple guides, multiple rafts, so
plenty of safety kayaks and
of safety kayaks. Whether those safety kayakers can kayak or not, I mean, you've seen the video, but it's really a whole lot of fun, and they inject a lot of fun aspects into it as well by sort of giving you more activities to do while you're rafting as well. So yeah, River Valley, that is definitely a go-to if you are in New Zealand and you have the purpose of I really want to go whitewater rafting, and it's not just a sort of little add-on to your trip. This is more like you have a vision of whitewater rafting, you want to go do it, then the Rangitikei River, especially with River Valley, is a great option.
Yes, we did really enjoy it, and you got to see Laura jumping in the water quickly right here, so that was funny. But yeah, and you'll see us stick around on the videos. You'll see us flip really soon. All right, we'll have 4 more options for you in a minute. Let's just talk to Sander first. He says, thanks, I also like November and better, and it's only 3-5 months away. I just wish I could stay longer than 5 weeks. Well, you can quit your job and then you can stay for longer.
Yeah. But 5 weeks is still a good amount of time, especially for just exploring one of the islands. We talk to so many people that want to squeeze both the North Island and the South Island in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's always so hard to plan an itinerary around that because you miss so much, but it's really smart to do a 5-week trip and just stay in the South Island. That's a really good way of doing things.
And you'll be able to cover a lot of places that you haven't had the chance to cover beforehand. So that's pretty good because that gives you plenty of time to be able to go off the beaten track and everything. Sandra says, I already used my working holiday visa last year, so unfortunately, sorry, not an option anymore.
Yeah. Yes, it is
a
once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah. All right, let's keep talking about whitewater rafting. So, Sander, tell us which whitewater rafting trip you've done in New Zealand and if you enjoyed it. Okay, so let's talk about another place to do whitewater rafting in New Zealand, which is just Shotover River, which takes you to Skipper's Canyon, isn't it?
Yes, so this is the one in Queenstown.
Ooh, I'm supposed to say the grades. It's depending on the water level, it'll be grade 3 to 5, so it's a bit more gnarly.
Yes, so this is a whitewater rafting trip which departs from Queenstown. They have you go with what are they called now? Not challenge rafting anymore. They're called Queenstown rafting or something like that. But they have their office is right in town on the main street, on actually Shotover Street, I think, of Queenstown. So they'll pick you up from there, take you to their base, which is located on the very gnarly Skipper's Road, known as one of the most dangerous roads in the world. But it's a really fun sort of scenic drive to get to the launch point, and then from there, this is also being Queenstown, it's quite a large operation, so they do have multiple boats, usually big groups of about 6 people in your boat. They usually are quite full. But yeah, it's usually so much fun. And yeah, the Shotover River, they do have 2 options. So the Shotover River is your more adventurous option, and they also do whitewater rafting on the Kawarau River, which is more for families, so a little bit tamer. So yeah, pick whichever you think, whichever adventure you want. And then the interesting thing about the Shotover River is that they have some sort of mining history and mining relics to see along the way. So you'll see sort of remains of old mining carts and trains in the river as you're going past. Robin's just completely distracted. And then also they have old mining tunnels that you may or may not be able to raft through, so that's really cool. Okay, Robin wants to go back to River Valley right now.
I love whitewater rafting. I really love it.
I'd love to do River Valley whitewater rafting again.
Oh yeah, that was so good. Please continue.
Yeah, so Shotover River. Again, Queenstown, probably one of the more adventurous rafting that you can do in the South Island. They are not open all year, that's the thing. They usually are closed during the winter season, and winter is between June, July, and August. But yeah, double check their opening dates, because it's usually, you know, a little bit into spring and a little bit into autumn that they will be closed as well. But yeah, Shotover River, really awesome, really adventurous whitewater rafting trip.
There you go. I'm sorry for being so distracted, guys. Just a lot was happening on camera, which was really good. I have a quick question from Anthony that says, have you ever had one of those boats pop on you because of the sharp rocks?
No, we have not ever seen that.
I don't think that really happens.
No,
because it's
they're
really,
very durable.
Yeah. So it's made of a very durable material. It's designed for that. It's designed to bounce and not to pop. So I've actually helped repair some of them. Actually, at River Valley, actually, they were doing some maintenance, and we stayed a few days there. So I was kind of like hanging out with the guys, and you know, like I've seen them, like how they repair, how they patch kind of the boats and everything. So they don't really pop. They just get a bit worn on one side or the other, and so they're really proactive. So they add like extra strips to it and everything. So I don't think a boat can just pop just like that. So I don't think that's really a thing, but yeah, that's a valid question. That's just doesn't really happen, I think. All right, so moving on to another place to do whitewater rafting is the Wairua River. So the Wairua River doesn't open all the time, but it's grade 5. It's gnarly. It's epic.
Yes. So this river is located just outside of the city of Tauranga on the North Island, and companies that would take you there now, I think, are just reduced to Kaituna Cascades, which is a company located in Rotorua. Yep. So you would go to Rotorua to say the Kaituna Cascades base there. They would get you all set up and then take you on quite a drive. I think it's over an hour, a drive to the Wairua River. But this is an example of one of those rivers that when the dams open, it's only available during that time when the dams open. So it's really just a few times a year. And why would you bother going on all that? Well,
why would you?
Why would you? Because this river is definitely grade 5. In fact, this is the scariest rafting that I've ever done in my life.
I loved it.
It is very adventurous. It has huge drops, and before you're doing some of these rapids, the guides will say to you, like you need to be working. You can't just relax on these tours. You have to be listening to your guides very, very.
That's true. That's the first time ever that they actually told us, like, when I tell you to paddle, you've got to paddle or we are in danger. Usually they kind of like, oh yeah, just do your thing.
Yeah.
You know, we give you some instructions, but if you don't help, you don't help, right?
Yeah.
This one, that was the one where they were threatening us. So like, this is gonna go.
You'll also see
bad.
that there's like chains that have been like sort of dropped alongside some of the canyon walls, because if you are sort of stuck, you have to be able to grab onto these chains because there are some dangerous sections where you can sort of get sucked into caves and things, and underwater caves. So it is like there is definitely high risks here, but they're also the guides are very diligent in telling you what you need to do and how to avoid those risks, and how you basically, it's just it's scary, but it is really, really fun. If you're looking for probably the most adventurous whitewater rafting in the country, look out for those select dates when you can do the Wairua River, and that's for you hardcore adrenaline junkies out there.
And to be fair, I mean, it's a really fun river to do, though. Oh,
I don't think I'd do it again.
Really?
I don't think I'd risk it again.
Wow.
It was really
no, it was safe.
It's really fun.
No, it was great.
I was very scared at the same time.
All right. So, and by the way, you can see us doing all those rivers on the channel. We do have whitewater rafting videos for all of the rivers we're mentioning today, even some that don't even operate. So there is plenty of ways for you to evaluate if you think it's for you or not. All right. So next up on our list, we're going to be talking about a river which is located near Rotorua, which is the one that Sander was telling us he'd done. And so that is the Kaituna River, which is the one you probably will do if you do whitewater rafting in Rotorua.
Yeah, so the Kaituna River is the name of the river that you will do if you're near Rotorua. It is famous for one thing and one thing only, which is its waterfall. It is the world's highest commercially rafted waterfall at 7 meters, otherwise 23 feet.
Oh yeah, if you measure things in cheeseburgers and eagles.
Yes. So with in Rotorua there are 3 different whitewater rafting companies that you can go with. There's River Rats Rafting, Kaituna Cascades, and Kaitiaki Adventures. So yeah, you have lots of options. It is probably, I'd say that's probably the busiest whitewater rafting in the in the country. It's the most popular one. Also, it's a lot shorter of an experience compared to some of the river rafting journeys, I'd say the other ones have been so far that we've mentioned, but on this one it's a little bit of a, well, actually Robin can talk more about this one because this is the one that I haven't personally done, but Robin has done. So tell us more about the experience.
Yeah, so the one striking point of difference with the Kaituna whitewater rafting compared to a lot of the others is the fact that basically the whole appeal, as Laura was saying, is that one waterfall. So this is the shortest trip. You can be in and out, including preparation, safety briefing, everything, in like 2 hours. It's really quite fast, which is quite good. Most of the river is extremely kind of mellow until you go to that really big drop. You do that really big drop, and then it's kind of almost done. That cascade, that big waterfall, is actually quite famous. There's a viewpoint right from there. There's also especially during the season, there's always an ambulance there, just in case anything happens, but nothing really rarely happens. So yeah, it's a really cool experience. Another really good thing about the Kaituna River is that you get a lot of Maori culture alongside with it, because Rotorua is the birthplace, or as I say, or maybe the biggest hub of the Maori culture in New Zealand. And so yeah, it's really fun to take part of that. To take part of that trip. It is just way shorter. I'm sorry, I'm not as much good of the words as Laura is, but yeah, it's shorter, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
And Sander did it, so if you guys want to do what Sander did, you can go for it. All right, so now you're having a different angle on our raft, by the way. We will move to the last place we're going to be featuring when it comes down to whitewater rafting in New Zealand, and that's the Mohaka River.
Yeah, so this is probably the most underrated whitewater rafting in the country. Mohaka River is located in the Hawke's Bay region of the North Island. In other words, it is on the east coast of the North Island. Nearest city would be Napier.
I do not understand why it's so underrated, because it really offers everything that we talked about all of those different rivers that we talked about, right? So that's why we kept it for last, right? Kind of like almost like a best for last kind of things, right? Because you will have all those big, these really big rivers, all those rapids. You will have all those big rocks in the middle of the river and etc. But you're also going to have the canyons. You're also going to have the cliff jumps, because they stop on the side and you can do cliff jumps, and you can even check out some caves in the middle.
Yeah.
You have so much variety into that one river that if you can only do one, doing this one will give you the experience of all the other one combined.
Absolutely.
Which is quite amazing.
Yeah, so also on top of that, the Mohaka River is, because it's so underrated, you will find that you have much smaller groups.
Yeah.
So as you can see, well, no, you actually can't see. I was like, look, so
as you can see on the channel, you can see us on the channel doing it if you check that river.
Yeah, if you check out whitewater rafting in Hawke's Bay or Mohaka River whitewater rafting on our channel, then you'll see a video of us literally we're the only 2 on the entire group, on the entire tour.
Well, we pick up one guy at some point that were left in the bush to hunt for a while. And
so
it was. There's a story. You should watch the video. It's absolutely. I don't know. It's just so random when it's kind of like there's a guy walking out of the bush and say, "Hey, I just finished hunting. Can I hitch a ride with you guys?"
Yeah. So of course that's not. We can't promise you that you'll always have a private tour, but obviously, like the tours here, you're not getting 5 boats full. You're going to have either one boat full or maybe just a couple of boats. So yeah, it's a much more intimate whitewater rafting experience. And the thing to know about the Mohaka River is that it is split into 2 different trips. So you can do a sort of grade 3 whitewater rafting, which is one that you could see us doing on the channel, which is grade 3, but it's still pretty exciting. There's definitely some really awesome rapids, and like Robin was saying, there's You can do a bit of cliff jumping if you want to. They sort of stop on the way to show you some old mining tunnels, which has some native insects in there called weta, which are some of like the world's heaviest insects. They're very fascinating. And then also, what's really interesting is that you'll stop to see fossils that used to be like old seashells that used to be at the bottom of the ocean, which as New Zealand has been like lifted out of the ocean, you'll see all these seashell fossils on the way. So there's really fascinating things to see, not just in terms of the rafting, but the whole journey itself. So that's specifically for the grade 3 rafting aspect of the Mohaka River, but there's also a grade 5 rafting, so you can do really adventurous whitewater rafting on the Mohaka River as well if you want to. Also to note though, this is a seasonal trip, so they do not open during winter. They usually will reopen for spring and close during autumn. So yeah, look out for the dates for that. But yeah, otherwise open most of the year, and the company to look out for is Mohaka Rafting.
There you go. All right, so that's all the different places where you can do whitewater rafting in New Zealand. We obviously have a lot more information for you on NZ Pocket Guide. There's a link in the description below. And yeah, if you want to hit some of the buttons to reward all the hard work, well, the algorithm likes it. So hit the like, the unlike, the subscribe, the unsubscribe, all those buttons. Click them along, and just make the little robots happy and show our videos to other people. In the meantime, we'll keep on hanging out with you guys for a little bit right now, answering all your questions. If you have any questions, then send them. Matua, which just said hello, Denis and Geraldine. I know they are watching all the way from Belgium. If you guys have some extra questions, feel free to ask. And in the meantime, I'm just skipping along to get back to
some rafting.
Yeah, some rafting from the top, so we can just kind of watch us do the nonsense. I don't want to stop the video until we've seen the big flip, because I promised it, and it's just a lot of good old fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, Laura, out of all those, so your favorite would be Mohaka or River Valley?
Oh, you know, when I started this video, I actually would have been like, oh yeah, River Valley's the best. But then I was like, then I remembered about Mohaka River, and I was like, actually, that's pretty special as well. Yeah, I think I'll go with Mohaka River. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I was about to say Mohaka, but then I have to take River Valley then.
Yeah, I mean, those two, again, they're both on the North Island, which is interesting because it feels like there's a lot of things that people are always like, oh yeah, the South Island's the best for everything. But actually, hey, for whitewater rafting,
yeah,
North Island has it going on.
Yeah. and if you want to make your own decisions, we do have videos on the channel where you can see edited videos of us doing basically all the whitewater rafting we were talking about right here, which was quite cool. Matthew X says he is sadly sick today, so he won't be on the Google Meet. So if you guys don't know what that's all about, we actually do a Google Meet. So like we basically hang out together for on a video call for about an hour every Sunday with our Patreon subscribers. So if you want to support us on Patreon, you get access to us helping you plan your trip. We also have a secret Facebook group where we help you plan your trip, answer your questions along the way and everything. And also we have a Google Meet where we can hang out and talk about your trip. So yeah, feel free to check out. I think there's a link in the description if you want to do that. That'd be cool. If you don't want to do it, keep your money. It's all good. Everybody's happy. Oh, those guys try to unstick themselves. So that's when the raft is on top of a rock. You usually have to jump on it to kind of try to unstick it.
Yeah.
We've
seen a lot of that in this trip, where we've all had to go to the front of the boat, go to the back of the boat.
It's really funny.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
we passed like most of the big rapids right now. It's a bit more mellow, but we're still gonna have to go
towards the
flip,
end. I do remember it being quite relaxed and just enjoying the scenery at the end.
I'm just skipping a little bit ahead. Here we go. That's there. I think we're gonna get there right here. Or did I not do the right thing?
Remember, there's a bit of a cliff wall that we go up, obviously.
Yeah, I know. It's just more fun when you see people down in the water, right? That reminds me of a white water rafting trip, which is no longer available, which was on the Rangitata River. If you guys want to check out that video, that is epic, like really, really epic. Sadly, you can't do it no more. But if you want to see bodies in the water, oh, you'll see bodies in the water. And I think there is like one person that fell in the water. They raft flipped 4 times in the same trip. So yeah, that was quite an epic trip.
Somebody in that raft that was not pulling their weight.
Yeah. We didn't flip on that
Not
trip.
on the Rangitata
but
one,
you
no.
can literally see us having to help in bringing people out of the water, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know, that's the thing. That's the kind of trip where you can be as active or as mellow as you want. But man, it's just so much fun. I mean, we're having a bluebird day right here, which is kind of like, it makes for a very lovely video. But I cannot recommend it enough to do it in a very big rainy day. It was a very torrential rainy day when I did the Kaituna River that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it, because no matter what, you're getting soaked, right? You
Yeah.
get soaked in white water rafting, no matter even if you never flip or anything like that, right? So yeah, so I think it's a really good option to do it. Come on, okay. Okay, it's just right here. There we go. Okay, those guys got wet. Now it's now time to get wet. Come on, I just want to fall in the water soon. But yeah, so one thing that the guides do really often, you see that, so you know, you kind of like, oh, why are we always stopping every 2 seconds and everything, and I get it, I understand.
Oh my god.
I was about to talk about how safe the guides are, but that is really hilarious.
That's River Valley for you.
Yeah.
To be fair, no other trip that we've been on where the guides haven't been as cheeky as they are on River
they're
Valley.
really cheeky.
So
Yeah.
if you can handle a little bit of a spontaneous nonsense here and there, then River Valley is really cool to go on. But yeah, obviously not. Other companies usually aren't really like that. They'll stick to their script.
Yeah. River Valley, they're really cheeky, as Laura is saying. So yeah, one thing that I want to say is like, oh yeah, you see us stopping quite a lot and everything like that. But yeah, the reason why we stop a lot is that the guides are actually counting for making sure that they have everybody in the kind of the raft. So it's kind of like really safe. Like there's a lot of like kind of safety stop and everything, and you can catch your breath as well, because if you decide to paddle and you tell the guide you're going to help, then he counts on you that you're going to be helping and everything. You can be quite exhausted, so it's kind of like a lot of exercise, and then kind of relax a little bit, and then a lot of exercise, and then you relax a little bit, etc. So yeah.
And then this is where like again
we were taking photos right here.
Yeah, this is like River Valley stuff as well, and it's just like, oh, do you want to like see if we can get stuck in a rapid type thing? Like, yeah, that will happen quite a lot on River Valley as well. Whereas I remember this happening also on the Wairoa River. They were like, get out of the rapid! No, we can't be stuck in it. Yeah. So it's like, yeah. Obviously, this is a lot tamer than the craziness of the Wairoa River. Can I mention how crazy the Wairoa River is? It's just so crazy. Like that is an insane whitewater rafting trip. Oh,
yeah. This one looks very sane. That's sure.
Yeah, this one is at least it's not like a rapid that's going to take you down.
All right. I'm just trying to skip and to see. Oh yeah, cool. Okay, that's
okay.
about
So that's
here.
afterward. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, spoiler, Robin.
Okay, Laura is already in the water. Why is Laura? Oh no, Laura is here. Okay, cool. All right, here you go.
So
we'll wrap up with. So we all sat at the back, and he was like, okay, if we go as fast as we humanly can paddle, we probably can flip and can get you all in the water. And we were like, okay, let's see if you can do it. So we all did paddle like very, really hard. Got the rapids.
And then watch this. Oh no, you can't! I remember running up the oh.
So yeah, here you go. As promised.
Bodies in the water.
Bodies in the water. That is the best part of whitewater rafting, ladies and gentlemen. Right, that's a good way to stop. You will never know if we make it back onto the raft. Should we see him flip the raft? Do you guys want to see how skillful that is?
Yeah, it's cool to get this first person perspective.
Yeah. So boom. He put all his body up onto the raft, boom, as we are still floating. As you can see, we're still doing decent speed in the water right here. So we're all kind of floating all on the side.
First one in is the guide, like, okay.
Then he's going to be like, okay, can I get the paddles because I don't care about you guys. And so, yeah. We give him back all the gears, and then he's going to stop the raft somewhere, and he's going to get people to get back on board, and some people don't have the skills to get back on board. Some people do. Oh Lord. Come on, come on, come on. Push with the feet, push with the feet. Come on, you can do it. Woohoo! Nice one. And so then, so the way you get people in is you put your knees onto the bouncy stuff, and you grab with the two top of the jacket. So yeah, here you go.
Someone's using their paddle to swim.
The classic swim paddle things. Look at the guy cheekily kind of making sure the paddles don't get thrown everywhere. Oh, all right. Okay, so you guys saw us flipping and getting back onto the boat. Now we're going to wrap it up. Hey, thank you very much for watching, guys. That was awesome. And we'll see you next week with a new theme. And the theme next week is, I think, going to be about... I was saying what it was. Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about the best scuba diving spots in New Zealand. Somebody fell back in the water. I think now I'm doing it on purpose. Oh, I think that's me trying to get Laura back in. Yeah. Laura is light, as you can see. It was a very, very graceful exit. Okay. This is too much now. Bye-bye.
Bye.